On our website, you're gonna see Kydex sheaths and you're gonna see leather sheaths. And you're gonna see that all of our knives come with a Kydex sheath. And the question is why? What's wrong with a leather sheath, or what's wrong with a Kydex sheath, or why do we ship Kydex and not leather with the knife? And I kind of want to address a couple of those things. The first thing I will say is there's nothing actually wrong with a leather sheath. So I want to make sure we get that out there, and I'm going to explain some of the good things about leather here in a minute. However, we do ship our knives with a Kydex sheath, and the question is why? The job of a sheath is safety and security. Safety from the standpoint of if you fall down a mountain or fall off a horse or whatever, that knife is not going to stab you in the leg or cut you. The next part of that is security. You don't want to lose the knife. The job of the sheath is to hold the knife secure until you're ready to use it, and then be able to draw it out and use it. That gets into another kind of specific here about being able to actually get the knife out of a sheath. I am not a fan of buckles and straps. That being said, there are certain knife styles and designs that a sheath is built where you can't really avoid that. I generally think you can't avoid that much with like a hatchet. Some of our chef's knives that we're coming out with are gonna have a little, just essentially an edge cover on them, and it's strapped to the knife. I feel like with our hunting knives, you shouldn't have to have a strap on it to hold it in place. I wanna be able to draw that knife out quickly, use it for what I'm using it for, and then put it away. I think that also lends to people not losing their knives. If it's a pain in the ass to put that knife away, they're gonna set it on the ground. I would rather you use that and stick that back in that sheath and then grab it. Again, I'm pointing to my chest because that's generally where we carry these knives, and I'll get into the carry part a little bit later in this video. I'm gonna give you all the pros first of Kydex. One, it holds its form. It doesn't stretch. You can actually heat mold like we do our sheaths to the actual knife that's built, whether it's a custom knife or a factory knife that's the same over and over and over. You can keep consistency, and that sheath is specifically made and designed for that knife. If that sheath gets wet, gets warm, gets cold, whatever it is, that sheath holds its form over and over. If you're a person that uses a knife a lot and it's in and out of the sheath a ton, you know, a leather sheath will kind of wear, where a Kydex sheath just retains that tension. A Kydex sheath is very moldable to different styles of carry. You can use different clips. You can put different attachments on it. You can screw that Kydex sheath to your Kydex gun holster if you want. There's a lot of different clips, belt clips, shoulder straps, things that go on backpacks, in your pocket. There's a lot of options, and you can convert that sheath into a lot of different carry options. The other really great thing I love about Kydex is you can throw it in a dishwasher, you can wash it with hot water, you can scrub it out, and it dries quickly. It doesn't hold moisture, it doesn't soak up moisture. All of our sheaths have a little hole in the tip of the sheath where if you're hiking around and its water is running down your raincoat and it's dripping on the handle of your blade and it's going down into that sheath, it's going right through the sheath and out. Pretty much all leather sheaths are all sealed. So when they get a bunch of water in there, that whole entire sheath is full of water all day, which is against your blade, and it's also soaking that sheath up, that leather up, and expanding and making that sheath soft. All right, here's a few cons of a few of these different things here. With a leather sheath, for example, is gonna be most of these cons, okay? With a leather sheath, if it's made improperly with the incorrect stopping point in that sheath with the blade, you can actually push that blade right through the end of a sheath. Or if you're putting that blade in a sheath and it's not lined up properly, you know, the tip of our knives are very aggressive. If you get that going in there wrong and you start cutting into the sheath, you can actually shoot through the side of the sheath with your sharp blade very easily in just a piercing motion. Again, with Kydex, you're not gonna have that kind of thing happen. Leather sheaths, again, they hold moisture, they hold blood. They can start to smell after a while if you don't do a good job of cleaning them. And then when you do clean a leather sheath out, wash it out, it tends to take a long time to dry, and you can also lose some of your form and your shape and your fit. That being said, we use one of the best sheath makers in the country, Francesca with Teton leather. She uses a stiffer leather. She uses really good dye, really good quality leather, and she does a really good job of constructing her sheaths where we try to mitigate a lot of the chances of these kinds of things happening. That being said, it's a natural material and there's certain things you just can't avoid, such as that leather getting wet, maybe losing its form. I would say there's very few drawbacks to the Kydex other than the fact that it just doesn't look traditional. I generally love the look of a leather sheath. To me, it reminds me of, you know, my grandpa or what your great grandpa or what a trapper coming into the mountains with Jim Bridger would have worn back in those days. You can repair leather if you take it, you can restitch it, you can do some of that stuff. Might be a little bit difficult if your Kydex sheath was to somehow break. You're probably not gonna really repair that. A leather sheath can be repaired by a saddle maker or somebody like that. The other thing I really like about our leather sheaths is they match our leather gunsling. They'll match the bridle or the saddle on your horse. And I think they look really dressy if you've got a nice leather belt on with a nice belt buckle. I just think that whole entire package looks really good. And I will say, I don't want to entirely point people away. If you just do not like the look of Kydex and you're like my grandpa and you're like, I don't want that plastic shit, and that's just your attitude, a leather sheath is 1000% functional and usable. And you can absolutely carry our knives with that. There are just a few more care things that you need to do. But if you're into leather products, you probably enjoy doing that stuff. Oiling your sheath, oiling your gun barrel, making sure it's not gonna rust, oiling your knife, taking care of your leather boots. It all involves a little bit of maintenance. Kydex definitely allows you to be a little bit more neglectful and not do the care that a leather sheath requires. I do feel like we have some of the best Kydex sheaths on the market today. We use on-brand actual Kydex material. Kydex is kind of like the term Dawn dish soap. And maybe you're not actually using Dawn, but Dawn is an actual brand of dish soap. Same with Kydex. Kydex is a brand of material. There are lots of different plastics out there that you can make sheaths out of. We use legitimate on-brand Kydex material. We also make sure that all the hole patterns on our sheaths match all of the industry standard clips and different attachments and buckles that you can use on a sheath. That way you have some ability to interchange parts and pieces if you would like to and modify things to fit your kit. In regards to where we carry our sheaths, to us this is very, very important. I feel like your knife should absolutely be accessible for a few reasons. First, let's talk about the self-defense piece. If you're out for a jog or you're out for a hike with your dogs or a hike in the mountains on a backpacking trip, to me, you should have your last line of defense against human, pets, other dogs, animals, mountain lions, bears, stuff like that. Obviously, I don't think you should be fighting a bear with your knife. However, if you're out for a hike and you end up with a mountain lion or a bear on you, like we've seen some viral videos happen with these mountain lions following hikers, you're gonna be very happy that you at least have a knife of something that you can protect yourself with. Same thing, I have a daughter that's going to college this year, and if she's going out for a jog on campus or going for a hike with a dog or a friend, there's a lot of weird people in this world, and quite honestly, I would really feel more comfortable if she had a small, thin blade attached to her leggings, in her pocket, somewhere accessible that she can get to, not stuck down in a backpack. Generally, in an emergency situation, you're not gonna have time to get through a backpack, dig in different pockets and zippers, trying to find a blade. In regards to hunting, I really, again, feel like your knife should be accessible. There's a lot of times we use a knife throughout the day or throughout a hunting trip that isn't actually in regards to actually dressing out an animal. Maybe you're opening a freeze-dried meal. Maybe you're cutting a string off of something, or you need to shave a little bit of dry wood, of some duff to start a fire. There's lots of different things that you can use. Cutting some tent guy line rope because you want to guy your tent out because it's windy. There's a lot of different reasons why you should just have your blade handy. When I go hunting with my pack, that thing can weigh 60, 70, 80 pounds depending on the hunt. There's a lot of stuff to dig through and look through. I'd rather have that knife actually available on my chest strap. Our knives do carry right on our chest strap, and the other really great thing about our attachments is they can be turned 90 degrees. I can just as easily pop that knife right onto my chest strap of my pack, or take it off and put it on my belt when my pack is off. I see farmers and ranchers clipping them to the visor of their pickup. I've clipped them to the edge of a piece of plastic on my raft when I'm fly fishing. We see fly fishermen carrying them on their fly fishing vests. We see guys attaching them to their bino harnesses. There's just 100 different ways you can carry our knives. And to me, that's the advantage of Kydex. The Kydex sheath allows you to have a lot of different carry options, a lot of different clip styles, from small metal in the pocket clips to our MKC folded backpack strap clip. So check those out on our website. I think you'll see a lot of pictures and a lot of reasons why, to me, the Kydex from a functional standpoint is superior to leather. But again, leather's beautiful. We use high quality people to make our sheaths. And that's the last piece I'll say on leather. Be very careful about who you're buying sheaths from. There's the cheap Chinese shit, and then there's the stuff that Francesca's making in Idaho that's as good grade A stuff as you can get.